Catholic, not known for the strikeout, but has been able to come through with another one for Kentucky.
We don't just make cars. We make technology that moves people. This is the 2018 Nissan Rogue, featuring tech like Pro Pilot Assist. It helps keep you centered in your lane and in control. This is how Nissan Intelligent Mobility is reinventing driving for everyone. Now the most exciting tech you own is in your driveway.
When out with friends, you could tell the truth, or a better version of it. Just ask Dos Equis, the beer Abraham Lincoln kept under his hat.
Who wants a hat beer?
Dos Equis. Keep it interessante.
If you have a garden, you know weeds are low-down little scoundrels. Draw the line with Roundup. The Sure Shot wand extends with a protective shield and targets weeds more precisely right down to the root. Roundup, trusted for over 40 years.
Schick Extreme 3. 3 flexible blades that uniquely adapt to any contour for optimum comfort. For any twist or turn life hands you. Schick Extreme 3 and Extreme 4 with 4 longer lasting blades.
I cannot believe this!
Count it up, count it up, count it up, count it. Can't take it when you die, but you can't live without it.
Well, the offense started right off the bat in the first inning. Alex Martin's got things going with a 2-run homer.
A first inning 2-run blast got Kentucky on the board, and then later a pinch hit opportunity for Rachel Metzger, again coming through, gets the 3-run double. An opportunity for a grand slam again, but gets 3 to come across for Kentucky.
Kentucky has scored 7 runs today, a couple of doubles, a home run, 2 stolen bases. Metzger has just been incredible coming out of the dugout for the Cats. 7 RBI as a pinch hitter.
2 swings, 7 runs. Not a bad day.
Not a bad weekend. Jenny Shaper is the leadoff hitter in this inning. Kentucky, with 1 more run, they would end this early. Speaking of grand slams, of course, she had one in game 1 in the regional for Kentucky yesterday. The first of her career.
Not a bad time to come through, get that run rule win against UIC in game 1.
Well, Kentucky has run ruled in both of its games in this regional. The only 2 times that a team has run ruled all 3 games in a regional was Washington in 2014 and then Missouri in 2016. That one into the glove of Sarah White. Notre Dame trying to give itself 1 more opportunity for those bats to come up. They got to take care of 2 more Wildcat hitters. And this is a Kentucky team
last year. It was a
Reed fouls it off.
While we talk a lot about the SEC, it really does prepare these teams for the postseason. They faced dominant pitching in each of their SEC series weekends, and Kentucky had the toughest SEC conference schedule of any other team.
Yeah, the second toughest schedule in the nation.
Rachel Lawson seeing an opportunity to prepare her team, putting them against the best in the nation all year long, making them travel, play on the road, be in difficult situations, knowing that at the end of the year it would prepare them to be ready for a battle.
Katie Reed going to right. White again is there.
Sarah White being tested out in right field. Bezos had played most of the game there, but Sarah White right now coming away with 2 big outs for Notre Dame to keep them in this one.
They need one more to get those bats up. Abby Cheek, though, for Kentucky, even though they have 7 runs on the board, she has not gotten on today. Did she do it right here? Abby Cheek just sent Kentucky to Super Regionals. Her 16th home run of the season, the biggest one of the season, secures that spot in Super Regionals for the Kentucky Wildcats.
Abby Cheek, probably the hardest hitter on this Kentucky squad, steps to the plate and finishes this one early. Abby Cheek, known for the long ball. Notre Dame, a hard-fought fight. Their backs against the wall. Holloway in the circle had done such a good job. Another changeup, and she knew out of her hand that one was going to have a lot of distance. Abby Cheek stays back, gets her bottom half through this one. She hits it off the scoreboard. Kentucky, another run rule win. 3 consecutive run rule wins here in the Lexington Regional. Abby Cheek capitalizing on a big one, and Kentucky moving on to Super Regionals.
Kentucky only the 3rd team in the Super Regional era to run rule in 3 games in the regional. Well, let's take a look at today's Capital One Player of the Game. Rachel Metzger, for the 2nd game in the row, coming out of the dugout as a pinch hitter and putting a ton of runs on the board.
Well, we saw her yesterday come away with the grand slam against Notre Dame for the win. And then today, a 3-run double to get Kentucky so close. Abby Cheek sending it over to finish this one off.
Metzger is our Capital One Player of the Game. What a way to end that one, though, with the solo shot by Abby Cheek. Just an impressive showing, and no doubt about it, Kentucky deserves that spot in the Super Regional.
And offensively, Kentucky right now seems to really be hitting on all cylinders, getting run production from top to bottom, getting their slappers to get on base. Kentucky looking good as they now will head into Oregon to try to take on the Ducks and make their way to Oklahoma City.
All 8 of Kentucky's runs came with 2 outs today, but the most important fact is that they are moving on to Super Regionals. They will face the top seed in this tournament, Oregon, out in Eugene in Super Regionals. All Super Regional action starting up on Thursday. You can see all games on the ESPN networks. What an outstanding regional for this Kentucky crew, the Hittin' Kittens they call themselves, and they certainly can do that. And we're joined now by Rachel Metzger, who again just keeps coming in as a pinch hitter and getting things done. How do you stay focused when you know a big moment's coming?
Just take a deep breath, trust my process. That's been the biggest thing. Coach Austin preaches, stay the course, and that's what I just did.
When it came to the offseason, Coach Lawson talked about how you guys really needed to work on run production. What was it in the offseason that really has helped you guys here now?
We do a lot of focusing on situational hitting. That's a big focus I think we've really capitalized on this season, and I think that's been a really big success for our team and our run production.
You guys weren't even sure if you were going to host a regional, and now to get that 16 seed to be able to host, and now you stay in the winner's bracket, and you're going to super regionals. What's that feeling like?
Well, I'm so excited to go back to Oregon. I think the team and I agree. Oh my gosh!
I think they're excited.
We are very excited. My family's going to come, and the team's excited to take it back to Oregon, and go Cats!
Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Kentucky, 3 run rule victories in this regional. They seal the deal with a win over Notre Dame, 8-0. Going to their 6th super regional in school history. They will take on Oregon. Just an incredible showing from the Cats.
Just to see that kind of run production, they are coming and hitting on all cylinders. Kentucky looking to give Oregon a run for their money, the #1 seed in the bracket.
Kentucky puts up 28 runs in the regional, and that was plenty, more than enough to get them the spot in super regionals. The Kentucky Wildcats stay at home for the regional. They get business done. Abby Cheek sealing the deal with a solo home run to put the run rule in effect and get that win over Notre Dame. A spot in super regionals going to the Kentucky Wildcats with an 8-0 win.
Regional, Bogle Park in Arkansas. We've had a great one here with a trip to the Super Regionals on the line. Wichita State needs to win twice to get to the Super Regionals for the first time in program history. Arkansas, if they win this game, they go to the Supers for the first time. The winner of this regional will take on the winner of the Norman Regional. Oklahoma and Missouri meeting a little bit later on today. We have had a back and forth game here in Fayetteville. Wichita got going in the first inning, had a 1-0 lead. Arkansas came back and had a 3-1 lead, but a 3-run third for Wichita State put the Shockers on top 4-3. But that was answered back in the bottom half of inning number 4. Arkansas had not trailed in this regional until today, and they didn't trail for very long with Hannah McEwen at the plate.
Hannah McEwen drove this pitch over the fence to score 2 more runs, but Arkansas had 5-4. Mary Half has found her way in the circle, has battled defensively. Now Wichita State finding themselves have to battle from the deficit. Arkansas in the driver's seat.
Half with back-to-back complete game shutouts in this regional. She did not get the start today. Autumn Storm started, pitched into the 3rd inning. Half came in relief. There is Storms. She's been the #1 cheerleader since leaving the game. But then Half came on, fighting her control and her command a little bit, but she has found it. 4 straight strikeouts for the freshman to keep this a 1-run game. 8-9-1 for Arkansas here in the bottom half of the 6th. Kayla Green to lead off.
Really, in terms of offense, too, for Arkansas, Bingham has thrown a great game for the Shockers. She's kept the ball low in the zone. Arkansas, in spite of Hannah McEwen's home run, and Ashley Diaz had a double, there weren't many great hits.
Line drive, left center field, all the way to the wall off the bat of Kayla Green, and the freshman slides in with a leadoff double.
As much as we talk about Mary Half grinding, this is an offense that has just found a way to grind out some hits when they matter. Here, another leadoff hit. Green's able to get on base, just drives this pitch, a line drive, back up the middle, into the gap, allows Green to get all the way to second base. And in this game, the way it's been going, Eric, I feel like you need to have that insurance run. You need to find a way to get this one in.
Sydney Benz comes in to run for Kayla Green. That's the first hit for Green in the regional, but the 6th time she's been on base. And you can see at the very top of your screen, Green's just going to come in, get her catcher's gear on, and if Mary Half wants to talk to her, she'll be there for her, but it doesn't look like Mary Half is much for conversation right now.
That's the thing with pitchers. They certainly have their own moments. That would be me right there, sitting on the bench, nobody talking to me, focus on what I have to do. And then you've got pitchers like Autumn Storms, Bailey Klitsky for Wichita State, who are right in the thick of it, firing their team up on the sidelines, and can go in and pitch a game no problem. But Mary Half, that focus, there is a smile there, I see. Still pitching from the lead.
Meeting in the circle for Wichita State. Pitching coach Ryan Stefankowitz comes out to talk with freshman Caitlin Bingham. Three extra base hits for Arkansas, all coming since the 4th inning. The home run for McEwen, doubles for Belands and for Green. Ground ball to right, looks the runner back, then gets the out. One away. Begarin is retired. Back to the top of the order for Hannah McEwen. McEwen with an infield single and a run scored in the first, reached on the fielder's choice in the second, and hit that 2-run home run in the 4th. Now grounds out the first with Benz moving on to 3rd, 2 down.
And for McEwen, we've seen her advance runners beautifully throughout this regional. She does put the ball in play. She makes things happen. And again, for the sake of trying to get this insurance run, even just hitting a grounder to the right side of the field for Benz to advance is key.
Busick, pitch gets away, play at the plate. Benz is safe, and there's that insurance run.
Again, you go back on the importance of McEwen transferring Benz to 3rd base. That would not have happened if she did not do this. Benz, even waiting, did not take a massive leadoff. That ball took an unfavorable hop back towards home plate. But Bingham doesn't get it in her glove. Benz slides in, is safe, and like you said, a huge insurance run.
Two 2-0 to Autumn Busick. Singled and scored in the first. Grounded out in the second and walked in the 4th. Busick 4 for 9 in the regional. 3 runs batted in and a run scored. Two and 1. First 2 games of the regional for Arkansas. A lot of the runs came from the bottom half of the lineup today. 4 runs from 1 through 3 in the Arkansas lineup, although that bottom half still contributing. Busick grounds out to retire the side. An insurance run comes in for Arkansas. Mary Half will come out of the dugout with a spot in the Super Regionals on the line for Arkansas.
DiGiorno pizza bakes fresh in your own oven and travels straight to your table. Unlike delivery that goes from oven to box to bag to car to traffic to wrong houses. Nobody delivers a piping hot and crispy crust like a DiGiorno pizza. It's not delivery, it's DiGiorno.
We can stop to make sure someone is okay.
Get in the way and disrupt the situation.
Get someone a cab.
Or walk them home safely.
We can change the language around rape.
We cannot be bystanders.
Taking action isn't always easy.
But it's
on us
to intervene.
Because we can.
Learn more and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
NCAA Softball Regionals is presented by the Capital One Venture Card. Earn unlimited double miles on every purchase every day. What's in your wallet?
We have reached the 7th inning. That's when we remind you to tune into the weekly 7 Innings podcast, chronicling the road to the Women's College World Series, featuring many of our ESPN softball announcers. You can catch the 7 Innings podcast on iTunes and Google Play, and follow along at 7 Innings Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. Mary Half has given up 5 hits as she works here in the 7th of her 3rd appearance of this Fayetteville Regional, and she throws a first pitch strike to Madison Paragon. Paragon, Weber, and Buck. 4-5-6 for Wichita, now down by 2. Arkansas 3 outs away from a trip to the Super Regionals.
Wichita State has had their chances, though. 14 base runners. They've left 8 on base, just 2 for 10 with runners in scoring position. Have not gotten a hit with 2 outs. Bases loaded. They've only executed 1 out of 3 times they've had bases loaded, then they've only scored 1 run.
One and 2 the count to Madison Paragon, and that insurance run changes the storyline a little bit for Wichita, with Paragon leading off, and we saw her power yesterday. 2 home runs in that win against Oklahoma State, but now leading off, no one on, of course. Wichita State needs to get a base runner here. That's been a problem for Wichita State over these last 4 batters, because Half working on a 4 strikeout run right now.
Yeah, and prior to those 4 strikeouts, 5 batters, 2 were hit by pitches, 1 was a walk, 2 were flyouts.
Swing and a miss. Out number 1 of the 7th, 5 straight strikeouts for Half.
And we've seen her just beautifully executing, coming through, making adjustments and getting strikeouts. First, a changeup low in the zone. Then we've seen that rise ball work. She brings back the changeup, freezes the batters, strike in the zone, and then has these pitches moving out of the zone.
Slow roller off the bat of Weber to the second baseman. Bergeron to Diaz, 2 down.
She has made quick work here in the later innings. She is focused on shutting the door here on this game, getting her team to the Super Regionals.
The fans in this huge crowd rise up at Bogle Park in Fayetteville, hosting an NCAA Regional for the first time in school history, and they'll make a lot of noise with 2 down in the 7th. Here's Riley Buck. One win in conference play in 2015, 1 win in conference play in 2016, and now here is Arkansas on the verge of their first ever trip to the Super Regionals. And a diving play by Busick sends Arkansas to the Super Regionals. What a way to end it for Arkansas. It's fitting that Autumn Busick, a senior who suffered so many losses with his Arkansas program, is the one who puts away the final out to give them their biggest win, sending them to the Super Regionals for the first time ever.
And just a great win for Arkansas, a team that had played so well this entire regional, had battled offensively, came out strong defensively. Courtney Deichel having them on the right plan to perform well at Super Regionals as they're peaking at the right time.
And this Woo Pig Suey will be as loud as it can get here at Bogle Park. The Arkansas Razorbacks, the Fayetteville regional winners, they knock off Wichita State by a final score of 6-4. The Super Regionals start on Thursday on the ESPN networks. It's been a pleasure to be with you here in Fayetteville. For Jenny Ritter and our entire crew, I'm Eric Freed. So long from Fayetteville.
Welcome to Softball Bases Loaded, presented by Capital One.
Welcome into our Bases Loaded studios. Matt Schick along with Caleb Rowe. We've seen some history. Arkansas advancing to the Super Regional round for the first time. You played for Alabama. This is wash, rinse, repeat for schools like Alabama who go to the Super Regional round every year. What's it like for a team like Arkansas, if you can reflect on maybe your first time getting out of the regional round?
This is an incredible experience. All the work you put in, all the time, all the off-season workouts, everything comes to this moment where you're celebrating on your field, and you have to give so much credit to Courtney Deifel and her coaching staff. They came in and inherited an Arkansas program that was barely winning a game in SEC conference play. Now they finished 500 in SEC play. They're on to their first Super Regionals in school history. I mean, she hasn't even gotten her recruits in really until this year. So she turned a team. She made them believe in their program. She gave them an identity, and she produced a winning team on the field that now has reason to celebrate and a reason to push forward.
Made it all the way to the SEC tournament semifinals against South Carolina. South Carolina, a team trying to get to the Super Regional round as well in Columbia, but having to win twice today against Liberty to do that on their home field. And how about a home run to get it started here in the third, Caleb Rowe?
Yeah, Kayla Drotar drills this ball barely fair. This South Carolina team is emotional after coming off of the walk-off win last night. They understand that they gave the games away to Liberty, and they have to fight back today to claw back to win 2. And what a good start for the Gamecocks.
Dixie Raley in the circle for South Carolina, again facing a Liberty team that has won 19 straight games, longest active win streak in all of Division I. These teams at least riding 3-game win streaks after heading to the Super Regional round. You see Oregon and Kentucky. We've got 2 matchups set. Oregon will host Kentucky for the 2nd straight year in a Super. Last year they swept Kentucky, although Kentucky made them earn it. Led for most of that game, too, in the Super last year.
Yeah, this Kentucky team has looked really good in this regional. They're going to give Oregon a push. But, I mean, top to bottom, what we're seeing from this entire field is that the host teams are dominating their region so far. South Carolina trying to claw their back, and UCLA is the only other team with a loss as a host team. And LSU.
Yeah, LSU as well. They just lost to Louisiana. We also have Georgia and Tennessee. That is a Super Regional matchup that is set. Georgia took 2 of 3 from Tennessee in Knoxville earlier this season. Maybe a little different now without Brittany Gray, who's out for the season, lead pitcher, ace for the Bulldogs. So we're about halfway through today. What have you seen with many more tickets to punch?
Well, I think I've seen just the emotion and the urgency from a lot of these host teams. Getting to the Super Regionals and potentially making your way to the World Series is such a special experience, and all these teams are fighting so hard to make it one more day, to play one more game with their team, and to finish off their seasons on a positive note. And it is no easy feat. I think you see the parity in college softball, the growth of this sport, and all these non-Power 5 teams that are emerging as tough competition week in and week out. I think the field is very strong this year. Yeah, we saw Ohio try and push Tennessee a little bit, getting their first 2 wins in tournament history this season as they tried to take down Tennessee. Tennessee a little too strong for them in Knoxville. They will head to the Super Regional round in Athens to take on Georgia. Florida State, their 6th straight Super Regional appearance. Again, as they take down Jacksonville State at home. As we show some scores for you. Again, Arkansas, the number 13 national seed, does survive and advance to the Super Regional round, taking down a feisty at-large team from the American in Wichita State. And Kentucky, boys, they're a hotter offensive team in America right now. I mean, you wouldn't think so. I mean, you would I mean, they are the hottest team right now, based upon their performance in the regionals, but I would have never guessed that coming in. And it's because they played so many good teams all year. But this Arkansas team relied on the freshmen, which I love. They've been doing it all year. Hannah McEwen comes up with the eventual game-winning home run, and then Mary Half finishes the game in the circle.
Yeah, a couple of SEC all-freshman teamers, Hannah McEwen and Mary Half, getting Arkansas to the Super Regional round for the first time.
You're watching Softball Bases Loaded, presented by Capital One.
People rely on you to deliver the package, prep the food, keep it cool, and please your customers. No matter what people count on you to do, you can rely on us to help you do it better than anyone else.
During commercial van season, competitive commercial van owners or lessees are eligible for these incentives on Ram, ProMaster, and ProMaster City.
Here's to 60 years of Pizza Hut, to original pan, to stuffed crust, and to the best of both. The new double cheesy crust pan pizza with stuffed crust cheese baked just inside the golden edge of original pan. Here for a limited time. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
All natural flavors. It's like nothing you've ever tasted before. White Claw Hard Seltzer.
The double play. It's like a dance with me. Second base. Altuve and Correa can do the steps with their eyes closed. Each knows where the other will be. Speed, grace, beauty, perfection. The timing must be impeccable. Bang bang for the double play. Jose and Carlos, they are the perfect dance partners. Sunday Night Baseball, Indians Astros tonight at 8 on ESPN. Telecast presented by Taco Bell.
Show you how some of these super regional tickets were punched. Georgia and Northwestern top third. We're tied at 2. Morgan Nelson to left. Couple runs come in. Here come the Wildcats.
Northwestern gave Georgia a run for their money, and some defensive miscues and missed throws opened the door for Northwestern, but you got to keep the Georgia bats at bay, and that's a tough feat.
Justice serves this one over the fence. That's Justice Mills. 2-run home run. Boy, Georgia, they can just... Northwestern took a while. They had to, as you said earlier, scratch and claw for some of these runs, and then all Georgia has to do is hit home runs. Allison Fabry with a 2-run shot to left. Georgia wins at 9-7 off to the Supers. Let's go to Columbia right now. South Carolina with that 2-0 lead. Again, Kayla Drotar, showed you the home run for the South Carolina Gamecocks. Now we're in the bottom of the third, Liberty in a hole.
Not offer at the first pitch. It's ruled a strike. Did you ever have a 3-pitch inning?
I'm sure I did. I mean, I didn't write it down and make a journal about it, but I'm sure it's in there somewhere.
Just testing your memory. This one hit in the center field, and it's going to get by Watts. This could be trouble. Tara Duffy will pick it up as Bishop comes to third, and that throw almost got away. We'll see how they score it. Watts looked very unsure of herself coming in for that, on whether to dive, knock it down, or what have you. It'll go as a base hit and an error that gets the runner to third. And obviously she didn't dive, but the worst thing she could have done is let it get past her, and that's what happens.
Yeah, and you see how she's moving her body to the side and her glove was a little bit out in front, so that way when the ball gets by, there's nothing to stop the ball. She needed to have gotten her body square behind the ball so that if it does miss, it has a better chance of hitting some part of her body and she can keep it in front.
First hit given up by Dixie Raley. And it brings up Amber Bishop, who will try to drive her in. Of course, got a lot of pop on the bat. She can tie the score with one swing of the bat. So a hit and an error puts a runner at third. There's a strike. Bishop flied out to Watson center field back in the first inning. Just off the plate there.
I still think it's so neat that you have the two twins that are playing on the same team and they're hitting back-to-back in the lineup. They're kind of right there in terms of stats.
Yeah, play right next to each other in the field as well. That one spins high and really works a 2-1 count. And the numbers are very similar. That's what's amazing.
Well, they are twins.
Well, yeah, that doesn't necessarily mean talent is given to both, but...
Well, clearly.
Yeah, clearly, in this case, yes. Just off the plate. 3-1 now. Raleigh trying to work out of a little trouble here in the third after the hit and two-base error. This one driven to right center field. This could be trouble. Duffy is there on the warning track for out number 3. Amber Bishop gave it a ride, but Tiara Duffy is there. Still 2-0 Gamecocks after 3.
Rain does not make for good softball. In fact, they don't allow you to play on the tarp. And so we need these tarps to be out of here. In Gainesville, they're still dealing with some weather. Florida and Ohio State, although the grounds crew is out there. That NCAA logo just looks great on that big board. Top right, I believe that's Davis Diamond. That's in College Station as we await Texas A&M and Baylor. Texas A&M a win away from a super, and Alabama and Oregon State in a weather delay. The tarp still on the field. Alabama win away. Again, they don't lose in the regional round. The only thing that can prevent them from winning is Mother Nature. Kayla Bro, you played for Alabama. Have you ever had lengthy delays in the postseason where you're just sitting around waiting to play?
Absolutely. I've had many lengthy rain delays, but the most notable one was definitely right before we played the national championship.
Oh, there it is. And you won it. And you won it.
And we did win it. But, I mean, the deal is you have to handle these rain delays in a way that keeps you positive. It keeps you energized. The easiest thing to do is to go in and kind of like almost like you're taking a nap, slow down, take a deep breath, but you have to figure out a way to keep yourself relaxed but also high energy because you got to get ready to play. You can't just turn it on and turn it off like a switch. You got to keep preparing throughout the day. And
if these national seeds again lose those games, they have to play again. So these days that would be long already with 2 games become even longer with the rain delay.
Absolutely, and these national seeds are getting anxious because it's so close. The advancement to the super regional rounds is getting so close they can feel it. So you want to get on the field. There's nothing more that you want to do than lace up the cleats right now. But again, you have to figure out a way to keep your mental game sharp and get ready and focus one pitch at a time when you do make it back on the field.
We do have 6 national seeds all into the super regional round, so 6 for 6 of the teams that have made it to next weekend. Oregon and Kentucky will open up in the super regional round next weekend in Eugene. Kentucky dropped both games in last year's super in Eugene, so a rematch there. And Georgia and Tennessee, another matchup that we know of that will be in Athens again. These regionals are paired, so regional winner versus regional winner. And right now we only know 2 matchups as of this moment. National seeds are 37-3 right now in this regional weekend. The only 3 losses coming by UCLA, LSU, and South Carolina. South Carolina with a 2-0 lead on Liberty here in the 4th. Of those 3, UCLA, South Carolina, and LSU, which one do you think is in the most precarious spot entering today?
I I mean, I think it's going to be tough for all of them. I think LSU's got the best chance there at the home. But for me, what stood out to me was UCLA, after they lose to Cal State Fullerton last night, they saw a Cal State Fullerton team dogpile on their field. You know that probably makes you a little bit upset to have that vision. But they go in, they play Texas State that night, win 14-1. So they looked like they're on a mission. So I think UCLA is actually, it sounds crazy, they're in a good spot to come back and win 2 times against Cal State Fullerton because of that extra motivation.
UCLA's got to win twice. LSU only had to win once today, but they did lose to the Raging Cajuns of Louisiana Lafayette. So that Game 7 winner-take-all moments away will get you out to Baton Rouge when that happens. South Carolina has to win twice today as well in Columbia. The number 9 national seed on their way right now with a 2-0 lead, and the leadoff batter flying up, popping out to short. We're in the top of the 4th.
Here's the first baseman, Kristen White. As we told you, the hero last night with the walk-off home run. Had an infield single here in the 2nd inning for her 3rd hit of the tournament. And again, if you know her story with losing her father last fall and all the emotions behind that with her and the team, you just had to, if you didn't have a little tear in your eye last night, you're not human if you know her backstory.
You don't have a heart, right?
Well, last night, that was just one she'll remember for the rest of her life. This was it. And she knew right off the bat, and you see Coach Smith there. Oh, yeah.
And I think if you listen to the post-game interview with Kristen White, you can get a sense of what type of athlete and player that she is. She was so humble and still in shock, but just talking with her, you understand why she's on the field for the Gamecocks. And if you're a Gamecock alumni, you should be very proud that those are the type of players that Coach Smith is bringing into the program.
She pops out to second here, and DiMartino trying to make quick work of South Carolina. 2 up and 2 down. Brings up the right fielder, Tiara Duffy, who popped out to short to end the 2nd inning. Gamecocks got both their runs with 2 outs in the 3rd inning. We'll see if Duffy can get something started here. Waves and misses at the first pitch.
Yeah, you have to give credit to Duffy for the last out of the previous inning. I mean, Cameron Watts had she had a bad play out in center field, which, resulted in a Bishop twin triple, and then Duffy did a really nice job picking her up, getting them out of the inning.
Well, there's the speed we talked about with Tiara Duffy. She can hit for power, and she can do that. And she sneaks in a bunt for an infield hit.
It was a very well-placed bunt. Soft hands like that, like how she caught it.
Gamecocks have a runner aboard with 2 outs for Cameron Watts, who grounded out to short to lead off last inning. Duffy with 4 stolen bases on at first base. Watts 0 for 3 in the tournament. She's been the starter, but has been pinch hit for several times. Infield in for the slap hitter, and slaps that one foul over our cameraman's head. He's okay. He's okay. Saw him bat one back into play after.
All right, some scores for you. Again, just recapping some stuff you already know. Arkansas 6-4 as they advance to the Super Regional round. Those of you watching on ESPN2, it's the Sparks and the Lynx with the WNBA on ESPN2. That is coming your way in 5 seconds. For everyone else, Bases Loaded continues.
7 months after playing their 2nd straight 5-game WNBA final, the Lynx and Sparks renew their premier rivalry. And moments ago, Minnesota getting their rings and unveiling their 2017 championship banner with Los Angeles looking on. And Simone Augustus and the Lynx in their newly renovated Target Center looking to get this season started right. Head coach Cheryl Reeves said of this rivalry, this has probably gone to a level I have not seen. Nneka Ogwumike and the Sparks will have revenge on their minds. The teams have split the past 16 games, And the Sparks and Lynx are separated by just 3 points, so it should be another great one tonight. And welcome into our WNBA studios. I'm Cassidy Hubbard, alongside 5-time All-Star Katie Douglas. And look, the WNBA season kicked off on Friday, but it's kicking off here on ESPN tonight. And overall, what are your expectations for this new WNBA season?
Well, my KT's big picture items, big picture.
Branded.
I am thinking that Cheryl Reeves, she's one of the best, if not the best in the league, but she's going to have a balancing act. Minnesota lost 3 very, very important bench players. So Minnesota brings in 3 new bench players. She brings in Danielle Robinson, Tanisha Wright, Lynetta Kaiser. Can they get the minutes that they need to integrate themselves with the core that does need some rest? Minnesota has the oldest starting 5, so it's a balancing act that you're going to have to see Cheryl Reeve again. She's one of the best. So if she's not able to do that, it looks like a wide open race with LA and Minnesota. And then if Minnesota can't do it, it's to be seen.
Well, she has 2 MVPs on her team to help lead the way. This is the first of 4 regular season matchups. A lot of games going on today. Aja Wilson making her Las Vegas debut against Connecticut at the Mohegan Sun. 5 minutes ago, Kelsey Bone dished to Aja Wilson for her first pro basket there. 2 minutes to play. Wilson lays it in. What did you see out of her?
You know, you're going to see all kinds of stuff. She's such a dominant post player. She's got inside, outside. Not maybe her best game today, but look for her to really cement herself in that franchise and do big things this summer.
Well, the Connecticut Sun won by 36 points, their second largest victory in franchise history and the largest season opening win by any team in WNBA history. We'll see you guys at halftime. Let's send it now to the Sparks and Lynx.
We both gritty, so we know it's not going to be easy. Both teams got that fight in them, and we want to win.
We are Atlas! Let's go. Come on. Come on. Yeah!
Gray will heave and hit. Here is more. Connect. Stars playing like stars tonight.
It feels good, baby. We love making things interesting.
Welcome to downtown Minneapolis, home of the Minnesota Lynx. Back in the Target Center, their true home court after its $185 million facelift. There's a lot of changes, but one thing remains the same. The Lynx dynasty keeps on winning. 4 championships in 7 years and a new banner in the rafters proves their prowess. Hi, everybody. I am Holly Rowe alongside a living legend, a Hall of Famer, Rebecca Lobo, and we are too excited for the start of the 22nd WNBA season. What are you the most excited about for this season?
I'm eager to see which team is going to rise up and contend and contest these 2 teams, LA and Minnesota, at the top of the standings. Because of the playoff format, every regular season game matters from the first week of the season to the last.
I think what I'm the most excited about is we are picking up exactly where we left off, Game 5 of the WNBA Finals, right here in Minnesota with the 2 greatest teams in the league right now. How has this become such a big rivalry?
Well, it's become the best rivalry in the WNBA in the history of the league, because every time these teams play in recent history, every game has mattered. And when we talked to Cheryl Reeve before the game, she said, they hate us and we can't stand them. And those are the kind of emotions that fuel this rivalry.
We cannot wait, but there are some changes with both teams today, notably for the LA Sparks. They will be without one of the best players in the world today. Candace Parker not in the starting lineup and not on the trip. She is home in LA nursing what we're told is a minor back injury. She is day-to-day. But that brings Essence Carson into the starting lineup, a little bit more size. For the Minnesota Lynx, they're calling them the Fab Five, and have they ever been fabulous? This core group has gone on to win great championships and has a nucleus that this team can count on, led by Maya Moore, who is off to a great start this season already, what her coach says, a pep in her step. But how do you anticipate LA overcoming Candace Parker not here today?
Well, it's more than the fact that Candace Parker was their second leading scorer and leading rebounder a season ago. She has been a big facilitator for them. She will get the defensive rebound, go the other way, lead the break, get people involved. I'm eager to see in particular how Nneka Ogwumike handles not having Parker on the floor.
LA and Minnesota have split the last 16 games. That's how close this rivalry is, including the playoffs, separated by just 3 points. Fouls on Ogwumike, and the tip to Odyssey Sims of the Sparks in their new Nike gold uniforms. Look splashy here on the court. At the elbow, Chelsea Gray is fouled right away by Minnesota. Simone Augustus picking up a very early foul.
And you'll see, because of Candace Parker's absence, LA goes small because they have no other choice. They don't have any other bigs right now on the bench. And so Essence Carson's playing the 4 spot. It's going to be an interesting matchup between her and Rebecca Brunson on both ends of the floor.
LA without Candace Parker, but also without 2 of their other big players. Jantel Lavender at 6'4", still overseas playing in the Turkish finals. And then Maria Vadiva, their draft pick in the first round at 19 years old. She's also 6'4", visa issues. So just 9 healthy players for the Sparks here today. Lindsay Whalen in her 15th season turns it over on the first possession for Minnesota. Gray quickly the other way. Carson for 3, short. And that's what Sylvia Fowles does, pull down boards. The last game against LA, 20 rebounds in game 5 of the finals.
Right now you see LA extending their pressure on the perimeter, and they will send a double team to Sylvia Fowles because she is so much bigger than Ogwumike inside.
And there's Fowles on the block, makes a move, but is just denied. Maya Moore for a long 3, too long. Sparks struggling to get into a rhythm early. Feed inside to a cutting Gray, just bobbled it. Takes the fade away. Think there's some jitters here? They got to be excited for this opener too.
It's the first game of the season. It's going to take a little bit of time for both of these teams offensively to find a rhythm.
Second straight turnover for Lindsay Whalen, not typical for her, and Odyssey Sims kisses it off the glass for 2.
Last year when these teams played, Minnesota had success when they were able to use LA's defensive intensity against them, and that was getting backdoor cuts or other pressure release plays. When they struggled, it was when they turned the ball over against that pressure D.
4-0 lead for LA. Off the screen, Whalen in traffic again. Feeds foul down low, off the glass, a nice look for Sylvia Fowles, and that's where their bread could be buttered.
Especially if LA doesn't have time to send the double team, simply because Ogwumike, a very good defender, gives up a couple inches in size.
Beard from the elbow, in and out. Brunson been working on her 3-point shot and gets it to go. The first basket of the season for Rebecca Brunson is a 3. A little poetry in that. I know she's been working hard on that.
That was a part of the game for Brunson that she added a season ago. She was not a 3-point threat until the 2017 season.
Fowles with the board, and Minnesota 5-4 lead after a few early turnovers and missed shots have settled in. Double team for Simone, and she dribbles it right off her foot. So 3 early turnovers for Minnesota. That is not typical.
Rebecca Brunson is the player that defenses like to leave to help on Sylvia Fowles, and as a result, she has added this to her game over the course of the past 2 seasons. She was not a player who attempted many, only 2 made threes in her entire career before last year.
What I love about Brunson is as the oldest player in the WNBA keeps adding elements to her game, as Carson gets one to fall, just 2 for 7 for LA to start this game. Fowles, a little nice step back move, gets it down. 4 points for Sylvia Fowles.
That's a way that a big player can relieve some pressure when she's been getting double teamed and feeling a lot of contact inside. Step away and hit it.
Nneka off the rim. past 2 MVPs of the league battling it today, and that's a hard screen as Beard goes to the ground. No foul is called. And Sims struggles to get it out of bounds. Odyssey Sims a little slow getting up in the corner. Last year's MVP of the league, Sylvia, fouls, and she is a problem.
Well, early on we saw fouls hit one from inside the paint. Here with the dribble, faces up and able to hit it over Agumake. Again, when you spend all game battling, getting doubled and sometimes triple teamed, it can feel good to get a shot up with no defense touching you.
Brunson, another long 2 off the mark. And Sims able to retain it, but a little crazy on the possession there. And finally, Maya Moore steps into the passing lane, breakaway, and Maya Moore onto the board for the first time in the 2018 season. Gray quickly the other way, up and under, nice English. 4 points for Chelsea Gray.
This is more of the pace that we've come to expect watching these two teams play.
I didn't want to say it, but it was like watching paint in the first couple of minutes. They were so slow and very careful.
Very deliberate.
Elena Beard with the foul, but Maya Moore gets the bucket.
Maya Moore getting it done from one end to the other. Explosiveness, quickness, all there for her at the beginning of the season. And you know what? The touches too.
ESPN's coverage of the WNBA is brought to you by Verizon, the most awarded network ever, and Taco Bell's new Wild Naked Chicken Chalupa.
And the battery's dead. Again.
Uh-oh, you need a new phone. And you deserve it on the best network, Verizon. Plus, right now, you can get a great deal. Oh, we're going? Sure. Not my thing.
Today's the day. Get up to 50% off our best phones, like the Samsung Galaxy S9 and Google Pixel 2. Plus, get the best unlimited starting at $40 per line for 4 lines, because unlimited is only as good as the network it's on.
Take heed. Taco Bell's Naked Chicken Chalupa Menace is back, along with a spicy new wilder version, a.k.a. the Hot Daddy-O, a.k.a. the Flaming Phoenix, a.k.a. the Spicy Chicky Choop Choop. At least, that's what the youths call them.
I have literally never said Spicy Chicky Choop Choop before.
You just did, Jerry. You just did. So when it comes to Taco Bell's mild or wild Naked Chicken Chalupas, heed my advice and say no to spice.
Brought to you by the Council for Eating Fried Chicken the same way you always have, and not Taco Bell.
What does it really mean when they say two people have chemistry? That they know what makes each other tick? Here's the thing about chemistry. It's hard to force it when it doesn't exist. And impossible to deny.
Impossible to deny
when it does.
Chemistry. Did you see me? Why is it so dark in here?
Chemistry.
Chemistry.
Welcome back. Minnesota leads LA 9-8. Cheryl Reeve, a new title and a new title. She's the new GM of this team. She's done a great job rebuilding this Sparks roster.
This is a team that Cheryl Reeve brought back the nucleus once again, this championship starting 5. But they have 3 key additions. They pretty much lost all the players that contributed significant amounts to their team off the bench a season ago. So these 3 players, Danielle Robinson in the game now, are key. And this is the reason why. Cheryl Reeve needs to give her starters rest during the regular season. She did it beautifully a year ago so that they can be ready to play bigger minutes come playoffs. And Lindsay Whalen is a prime example. Season ago, played 20-something minutes a game in the regular season, but in Game 5, 33 minutes, and she was a big key to that championship victory.
Odyssey Sims, 4 points for her. And you talk about Danielle Robinson. She was coming off an Achilles tear in 2015 or 2016, did not play that whole season. Last year was with Phoenix. I didn't feel like she had some of her quickness back, but there you see it. She's more explosive. I feel like it just took that time to heal for D-Rob.
That's her biggest asset, is she is quicker than most guards in the league. And all bigs.
Beard challenges fouls, but too much. Here comes D-Rob. Nice little transition look here from the elbow. Maya Moore, no. The fouls comes flying in and is stripped. Pushing the pace, both teams now. Gray, nice feed to Carson, who finishes. I would expect no less. Back and forth already. 2 different lead changes for the LA Sparks in Minnesota. Shot clock down to 5. Brunson's got to go. And is fouled in the lane by Essence Carson.
One of the calling cards for the past few seasons for the Minnesota Lynx has been their ability on the defensive end. You see Sylvia Fowles coming over in the help side. Essence Carson has played really well in this game on both ends of the floor. And remember, she just got the last foul, but she's playing the 4 spot today. This is not a player who normally plays in the post position. She's done a pretty good job against Rebecca Brunson and has looked good on the offensive end as well.
Well, at 6 feet tall, she's got an impressive frame, but what I like about Essence, I think she's healthier this year. Had a groin injury last year, an elbow injury, and she looks like she is rounded back into shape this season.
A big challenge for her now, though, is Maya Moore has been moved to the 4 position. Now she has to guard her.
Ogwumike on the break finishes, and that is the first basket for Nneka Ogwumike. And Brian Agler told us, without Candace Parker, who facilitates many of her baskets, they've got to get Nneka involved. It's been too long.
LA done a really solid job, though, defensively, forcing Minnesota into turnovers and then converting on the other end.
Cappy Pondexter checks in also for LA, one of their big free agent pickups this summer. Says she wants to go out on top and try to win a championship this season. It could be her last. After 13 years in the league. Tanisha Wright in for Minnesota as well. Nneka traveled on the indecision on whether to take a 3 or drive the lane. Let's check in now with our sideline reporter. I love tossing to another sideline reporter, LaChina Robinson.
Well, it's a tough job being Holly Rowe's sideline reporter, but I'm going to try to do what I can tonight here, Holly. But, you know, Cappy Pondexter was a great fit for L.A. across the board. I talked to Sparks GM Penny Toller today, and she said it's a no-brainer. Cappy is a proven winner. She's someone who can score on broken plays, and she can mentor their young backcourt. And for Cappy, she was already out in L.A. She was born there, basket there by Alexis Jones, but Cappy was already in LA working at Capitol Records. She was born there, and for Cappy, she said, hey, if I win a championship this year, I'm ready to retire, but this is an opportunity to come into a situation where the culture is built and I can really help this team get to that next level.
At 35 years old, she's been a 2-time WNBA champion already. She's hungry for more. Speaking of more, nice little look for Maya. So far, LA just done a great job, I think, playing without Candace Parker. She's such a huge part of what they do, Rebecca. What do you think?
Yeah, without question. What's going to be interesting to watch in this game, great job by Ogwumike, relentless on the offensive boards, is LA's stamina come fourth quarter. This is a team that has a very limited bench right now. You see 3 bench players in for Minnesota. Will that take its toll by the end of the game for LA?
And keep in mind, some of these players for the LA Sparks have just reported to training camp. Nneka Ogwumike has only been back from Russia for about 7 to 10 days.
One of her greatest assets is her ability to continue to go after the rebound. First, second, quick jumps in the air. And she was surrounded that last play by 3 or 4 Lynx defenders and still able to finish inside.
Nneka was the 2016 MVP with just crazy numbers, 66.7% field goal percentage, just every year continuing to work on her game. Already We have 6 lead changes. Neither team is led by more than 4 points. Would we have it any other way on opening day?